And we're back. The Manchester United game was extremely disappointing, but anytime you lose, you want to shake out the system immediately, which we did in our final game of the Champions League phase, people. Obviously beating Kairat, 3 goals to 2. Weird one because the main thing was just winning. Obviously, we won. It's not really any talking points. You respectfully to Kairat. Generally in the Premier League, you can only look, or in football, you should only look at what's in front of you. But I think everyone, including myself, loves Arsenal, supports Arsenal, still licking our wounds about Man United, extreme focus on Leeds United on Saturday and Tuesday moving forward. So we did win. Again, I still think every game tells a bit of a tale in all competitions. And I feel Kairat was the first one that kind of felt like a Premier League game in that. Yeah, they actually set up in a low block, actually, and we found ways to kind of kill them. The first half was enjoyable. The second half was a bit of a slug. Obviously, people came back from injuries, and got some minutes in their legs. Calafiori obviously made a mistake defensively, and collectively as a team, we didn't defend well for the 2 goals we scored, conceded. And when we did score, we looked like we could concede. Obviously, the first half was great. I think Eze had watching it again, some cute touches. Kai Havertz and Norgard definitely the standouts. I think beyond that, Benjamin White and Mascara did well. So, yeah, we won. I won't say it, in an ideal world, you wanted us to score 4 or 5, maybe even 6 goals, bit of optimism going into Kairat. The biggest talking point is for me, I do like Arteta. I do like what Arteta is doing. I only care if you win silverware. And I don't think you should be like, how you have some managers, 1 minute they're playing a 3 at the back, then they're playing 4. I don't want that. But I do think you have to box smart. I historically in this Arsenal football team, for me anyways, Raya, Saliba, Gabriel, Jurien Timber, Declan Rice, and Bukayo Saka, they're my immovables or my untouchables. Obviously, the form dictates if you're playing. For Mikel Arteta to extend that to Martin Odegaard and potentially Kai, yeah? And that's worked. But for me, I do think we need some different meals and some different ingredients. Like, we've been riding the Trossard train. Looks like his form's kind of going by the wayside. I would not mind if and when the time's right, Kai Havertz and Gyökeres playing together, specifically Odegaard within that role, and just seeing how it goes, man. Because that doesn't have to be the thing forever. It's just Odegaard's not doing the business. We all understand, there's a bit of a creative tax with how we play football. We all understand what he does for the system, the pressing, the pulling out to the right, the receiving off the centre halves. But you're hardly seeing his influence in that. You're not really winning draws. You're not exactly pressing. And to be fair, maybe not in the same way. Marino and Kai Havertz, they have nothing on Odegaard technically, in my opinion. But in terms of understanding that role, I'm not saying I want it, but they could do it. My point being, your position at this moment in time shouldn't be untouchable. It's a shame that I think the whole team fell off in the second half. Naturally, that coincides with Odegaard's coming on the pitch. But yeah, man, it is what it is. So if you want so many things from Arteta, then how can you line him like him? Luke, I'd love to answer your question, but so if you want so many things from Arteta, then how can you line him like him? You're gonna have to rephrase that question, man. Maybe I'm too stupid. Maybe I haven't, looked at what you're typing, but I'd be more than happy to answer. I'm not sure what you're saying there, my boy. Like, ask it again, please, so that I can obviously understand it and reply to you. T-Ball, appreciate you. Another DG, appreciate you. Let's worry about the next game. One game at a time. Start strong. Leeds is not a joke thing. Obviously, I think their form in the last 10 games has been decent. Ellen Rowe's horrible. We've got first world problems comparing to them because we're crying about three losses this season. Are we going to win a Premier League? They're fighting for survival. And it's a bit weird because obviously they're in what I call like the other Premier League. Like, I would say the teams that are fighting for the league, Champions League, those kind of things. We're kind of in our own world. And, the mid-table teams and teams fighting for their lives, they're kind of in their own world. But when you look at Leeds and Arsenal, yeah, I remember Daniel Farker, I believe, he was very close to getting sacked at Leeds. Other than that, past that, better yet, they went on some mad form. It looked like relegation, nothing to worry about. They've kind of dropped some points, and it's not that they can't stay up. It's they're making their job a bit more difficult now. Naturally, with Arsenal, the last 3 games, performance-wise, points-wise, individual-wise, 3 games can't tell the full story. But for me, in the last 3 games, it's a bit poor. It's almost a bit mad that we haven't won a game since we beat Bournemouth. So, yeah, potential 3 games, that's 9 points available. We drew against Liverpool and we drew against Forest, so that's 2 points. We obviously lost to Man United, so we took a bit of a wobble. And I would say with it being the second half of the season, with us entering February now, I think it's more than fair for a lot of us to demand Mikel Arteta and the players, it needs to go up gears. Because I rate you lot. You lot have got us to this point. where we've been saying, are we playing the best attacking wise? I've definitely said we've dropped up a level defensively. Midfield's fluctuated individually and collectively, whether we've won, lost, or drawn. We've still had the same concerns. But beyond that, at this moment in time, you're 90 minutes away from Wembley if you win in the League Cup. FA Cup will deal with Wigan when the time comes. Hopefully we go all the way. Champions League is now about to get serious, but that was, everything really in terms of the points, how we wanted to play, beating up big teams, doing what we need to do. And the Premier League, we've got a platform. So imagine if the evident areas of concerns, we really up it, because I don't feel I see anything evidently different from last season. At a push, when Calafiori was fit and Timber was there, the fullbacks and the build-up play and them getting in the box was a bit different. I still think it's a bit of a different season, same old stuff, but it depends. We might go all the way and win a title. We might not, but I don't see the need to be. And again, audit the performance, audit was for you. I'm not just talking about just shutting up, but I don't see the point in throwing toys out of the pram. There will be a time to go and do that. And definitely isolated to 90 minutes and tactics and whatnot, we can be vexed. But I don't see it. Even if some of you don't know by any stretch, no stretch of the imagination, am I a Mikel Arteta apologist? But for some people that want to crash out, I'm going to step into your shoes for a minute. I think I said this yesterday. Cool. This is what they're saying. All right, sack Arteta, do this, do that. Arteta's got sacked today. All these things happen. Would it be fair to say if he got sacked today, we're still in with a chance of all competitions? Yes or no? You'd be an idiot to say no, right? Do we not have to fulfill our obligation of literally playing how the season is? So we'd still have to go anyways. I don't see the point in writing things off. I still think there's a lot of cracks, man. What's the major topic today? Do you want to see Gyökeres and Havertz play together? We got 8 wins from 8. I do think the real test is against Leeds, and it's the next 2 games. Because what? We got to beat Leeds, quick turnaround. You're 90 minutes away from our final in beating Chelsea. Another game where probably made it closer than it needed to be. I'd say that, man. And whatever you lot want. Valera, appreciate you, man. Try something different, man. And sorry, Odegaard is not. Even that, like, form fluctuates. Taking him out the side, trying something different, whether that is Eze in that role or based off yesterday, seeing Gyökeres and Kai Havertz. Obviously, that might make us better. We only really care about getting 3 points. But pulling him out of the firing line and then bringing him back in, you might see a better Odegaard. If I'm completely honest, I think 90% of our team is good. I think they're all players. But I think in terms of like that higher level of consistency, because I said, as we all know, we've got a good team. You see, if we want to be great, everybody's got to be a different version of themselves. I do think they're a lot of hot and cold, and the form fluctuates. So with me looking at them, I think you lot are all tools at the job. If Odegaard's form's great, keep it going. If not, pull someone in. Odegaard might be the best thing since sliced bread for 5 games. The next 5, it might not be him, and then Eze steps in, etc., etc. Because across the season, you need that. Look at the starting 11 that went out there when we won the league at Old Trafford. Or even look at Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko, who's technically employed by us, even though it looks like he's going Ajax. They might not have been main players throughout a season for City, but I'm telling you, there's a couple of games they've came in and done the job. Gyökeres in an ideal world is getting 15, 20 goals. Marino, if he played up front, for argument's sake, might only score 5 goals in a Premier League season. Nothing eye-catching. But those 5 goals, that might have been when we're losing, 90th minute, you've snatched us a point. It's a must-win. We've been rubbish. It's 1-1. You've snatched us the winner. Got to galvanize the squad, man. Got to utilize the squad in that, man. Working today, as always, man. 4-2-3-1 versus Leeds. Eze in the 10. Start with Gyökeres up front. Then second half, bring on Havertz for Trossard. Play Gyökeres and Havertz together. If I'm honest, I don't feel Kai's going to start. You never know. Taking him off after 45 minutes could have been with a start against Leeds in mind. Could just be managing him. I don't think I'm going to see Eze start. I don't think I'm going to see Havertz start. I don't know if I'm necessarily warranting dropping Trossard, if I'm completely honest with you. I know he ain't been scoring goals recently, but like, you've been the one kind of guy I've counted on, if I'm honest. But as Ryan is saying here, try something different, man. Oh, where's my comments gone? Have you seen the captain? Jess ain't here, man. We'll be back on. By the way, Valera, we'll be back next Thursday, hopefully. Have you seen the captain be subbed off as much as Odegaard, especially in big games like United when the team needs you? Ironically, no. What does ATP mean? I don't know, but why can't Arteta play 2 strikers? Because we ain't winning nothing with the way we played against United. I don't know if I want to organically start 2 strikers. If Kai plays in the Odegaard role, then naturally you lot are gonna kind of play together. So I'm more advocating of that. Can't believe people really get up and tune into this armchair waffle every day. Dons plays FM and think they're a real gaffer. Marcel, give it a rest, man. This guy's a dickhead. Smash their likes for this good youth. Why not SLD? We have the squad to rotate. I'm not a fan of rotating for rotation's sake. I want the evident changes a lot of us want against Leeds, but I still want a strong team. Chelsea, I want a strong team. I couldn't tell you who we got after that, but you get the point, man. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's over for Odegaard. Odegaard's got to fight back. I don't believe in just attacking players and whatnot, but we also have to be big men and big women out here. At the end of the day, you're not doing it. I'm starting to believe Arteta, at the end of the day, you want to play Odegaard. Then form is temporary, class is permanent. The man's a quality player. But there's two things that are coming to mind. Is it just form, or is the system evolving past Martin Odegaard? The fact that he's captain, the fact that he stands here and does all of that, is that enough to warrant him in the side? To the point where I'm not going to go as far, but it does feel like a lot of things, maybe pulling Odegaard out the side, maybe putting the handbrake down in the final third, maybe going back to basics defensively. And I'd say for the players, game management's been seriously in question all season. As much as I think everything falls on Arteta because he's the manager, we all know it's 50% the players and 50% Arteta. The gaffer can give you all the tools once you're out there. And I think you're all old enough, you're all old enough, ugly enough to not be in situations like that. I can talk about, I do think there's an attacking tax on any attacking player that plays or comes through the door. But then at the same time, whether the players are chatting shit or not, they sit there and say, Arteta tells us play with freedom, do this and that. So is it just the tactics, or are you lot not doing the job? In terms of game management, we've questioned, maybe around the Wolves game, we've questioned, why are we sitting back and dropping back, definitely against Villa. Arteta's come out and said, and he plays a diplomatic thing. I never told them to do that. So I'm not a fly on the wall at London goalie. Me, I'm just a normal person. Match day, Arteta, players, if you do what needs to be done, praise. If it looks shaky, question marks, and that's it, man. I do think a lot of people say a lot of things in echo chambers, and it sounds great, but you're saying it like you're actually there, like you actually don't know. I reckon with Kai Havertz's return, we'll hopefully see more goals from Gyökeres. Hopefully, and don't get it twisted, there'll be times Gyökeres will be on the bench and it will be Kai Havertz up front. I make Arteta right when we said we missed him. Watch the game back, and Eze was much better than I thought. He needs to keep building on that. Facts, King. Facts. Especially with, I actually felt he found Odegaard well when he came off the bench. And even that, there might be a time for Odegaard and Eze to really think about that relationship. I do think in the first half, he was neat. I think he had great involvement, like a number of players, man. I think he's played it to Havertz. Havertz has set Gyökeres. I do still think there's elements of Eze, and you're going to be like that. You're kind of, at times in the game, I thought he was second guessing himself, especially specifically in the final third. And clearly that game also showed us all our players need to do a bit more shooting practice, if I'm honest. To be fair, though, I do think literally the dying embers of the game, I saw like the Eze of old, if that makes sense. So, yeah. Marcel's just in it, man. At the present. Why can't we just say at the present? What was underrated was Martinelli and Eze and Skelly. Oh, Miles Lewis, Skelly, some of them passes was amazing. Martinelli, I don't know what happens in the Champions League because you're scoring tap-ins, which you didn't do against Forest. You're taking shots from range, which actually work. I've seen Rabona passes. I've seen you're up there for goals. Don't know what's in the water with him, man. But yeah, man, it's just a shame Jesus couldn't stay on side. As I said, with game management defensively, with finishing our dinner, with how we're taking our chances, Noni comes to mind as well. It's almost like a different game, same old thing, man. I done told everyone about Odegaard the wronging time ago. Now people waking up. I wouldn't refer to him as a wronging, but I hear it, man. The beef will never die. Marcel, you cannot beef me. You're a nitty. You're a nitty. You're an alcoholic. You say I'm an armchair expert. You are here trolling, and he's my guy, so it's all love. But always fair in love and war. You're here trolling on the internet. People are using the internet to find the next Bitcoin, chat GPT for this. Shit. People are probably even watching porn. But you're here. You love man. You're sticky keyboard, you nitty. The thing about Marcel, I can't beef him. I can't rate pussios. Because no matter what, I have talked a lot of smoke about Arsenal Football Club and definitely with United. I never ran. You saw me. The minute Liverpool lose, this guy runs. He starts beefing other Liverpool supporters, but fans of the channel. Look at his display picture. Does this look like a sensible individual? You can smell the whiskey from here. Marcel, I hope the God you're smashing that like button if you're chatting shit. Like snotting, bitching about Klopp all the time. Man, Marcel, shut up, man. Such a real guy with a pussy. Such a real name for a pussy. Fuck you, man. We don't have beef. I can't beef guys like that. They don't stand for nothing. So, yeah, man. Beef will never die. We don't know you. Just caught back up. Yeah, I think Gyökeres and Havertz worked well together. Unpopular opinion, I think Eze and Odegaard link up well. They do. We've seen it on occasion. But the thing is, at present, I just don't know how you get Eze in the lineup with Odegaard. Like, for me, it has to be one of the two. Naturally, Eze could go left wing. part of me feels, at least for this season, if you could grab that left hand side spot off Trossard and run with it, then that's you, Eze. You're laughing, innit, man? DJ, if Arteta ain't doing everything you just mentioned, would you still be liking him? What? DJ, if Arteta ain't doing everything you just mentioned, would you still be liking him? I can only interpret that conversation in the best way. We'll flip it. Obviously, if somebody is not doing the things you want, you're gonna have question marks. And I'm like, I think Arteta, the boys and yourself, you're 90% there. The 10% that we need and needed last season, maybe the season before, until we actually address that, it's happy-go-lucky sort of thing. It's like being in a relationship. If I felt, not that I have a girlfriend, but if I thought my girlfriend was loving, caring, nurturing, was tight, all of these kind of things, I want that. So likewise, if she wasn't loving, nurturing, all those kind of things, why would I want that? It don't make sense, bro. It don't make sense at this point. You look, what's going on? Why can't people just say at this point? It's like BCM. Like, what the hell does that mean? There's so many acronyms and code words. I don't know what it means anymore. Maybe I'm only 30, but maybe I'm getting old. DG, all I know is Leeds is a must win. I know we always say this, but if we don't win and we're only up by 1 point, the meltdown will be annoyingly massive. We need our best option starting period. 100%. Everything you said there is facts. I can't see Odegaard start another game this season. I've seen enough now. He's not it. Come on now, really? I'll be amazed if he doesn't start against Leeds, man. I think we as Arsenal fans underestimate the importance of chemistry, even at the lower level. My game raised by playing with certain players. Eze and Odegaard work together, but we just can't carry people, man. Is Odegaard a luxury player? At the moment, you're a luxury player because you're not even really doing the pressing and all of that as good as you have been, even when your form was crap. Not really seen any influence. And I would even say even the toxic positive merchants are waking up to these kind of things we've been speaking about and speaking about the way how we are in the final third. They're the last ones to clock. And once they clock, exactly, DG. Eze and Odegaard work well. I remember when he came on versus Liverpool and immediately Odegaard looked better. There's something there. Trust me. And don't get twisted. Eze's situation is different, but he hasn't set the world alight. I just feel if you're putting in the performances that Odegaard's been putting all season, bar when he kind of got his form together, then you have to try something else. And if not, then you're going to have to live or die by it. But could it be evolution with Odegaard? Like Odegaard, you've got to fight for it back. You're the captain. Everyone's on you. No one believes in you. You know, obviously you're trying to play well. No FYI, nobody's playing poorly on purpose. No one's trying to make mistakes. Football's fickle. You go and play good. It's easier said than done. But you go and put in 5 to 10 worldies. Everybody loves you again. What I would say, though, is it doesn't always have to be a bad thing. Maybe you're not as indispensable as you were past a point. Benjamin White, at one point, he was one of the first names on the team sheet. He's not necessarily that. Tomiyasu, maybe owing to injuries, he had that. Who else is there? You know, there's several of them. Tierney was one once upon a time. You could say Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Ramsdale when we got Raya. There's evolution. So it's a that tour we got fall by the wayside. The team that helped us fight for the league one year is not the team that obviously in the system and the way we're playing, matter of fact, when we fought for the first title, ain't necessarily, there's intangibles, but it's not necessarily the second following season or the third season or the fourth, which we're in now, which we hope we can get over the line. Argument's sake, we all want to win the league, right? The team that helps us win the Premier League, some man might not be able to be here when we're trying to retain it or do what we're doing in Europe. Because FYI, once you hit that pinnacle at the top, like actually at the top game week 38, that's not the time to lay off. The only way is down. So that's where we've got to be harsher. And it's interesting to see what we do next season. Is there going to be a lot of playover turnover, which there's obviously benefits to that? Are we going to keep the squad together, which that has benefits and curses? It'll be interesting. Be very interesting, man. DG versus Marcel is the medicine for the soul, really. I'm not beefing nitties, man. Listen, the less fortunate, the mentally unstable, I'm not arguing with them no more. Like, because he doesn't know he's a madman. Like, look at his display picture. Does that seem like a sane individual? Does that seem like a sane individual? Marcel, I don't want no beef with you. I know I mentioned your laptop. I would hate to be in the same room as you, let alone see what's in your search history or on your hard drive, fella. You come for the guy, make sure you don't miss. You want nonsense? Let's go. I'm going to be fuming when he starts versus Leeds. I don't think he should start versus Leeds. I wouldn't say fuming. If you play well, if you play bad, Arteta and the boys, just make sure you get the 3 points. Just make sure you get the 3 points. Imagine we come full circle and Havertz in the 8 drives us to the league after stinking in 2023. I hope so, man. I hope so. Charles a chuck. DG, what do you think is contributing to Saka's concerning goal drought? I'm desperate to see him back. Everything. Saka needs to improve his finishing, maybe thinking about it too much. I feel if we're saying this about all of our attackers, then there's a deeper question on tactically what we're doing, which isn't any different from the last 2 years prior to the season we're in. So there's obviously that. Me personally, I'd like to see more variety in the movement. I don't feel I see enough consistent runs in behind from our midfield. I know we're trying to get that with Zubi and whatnot. I like the free roles our fullbacks kind of have, but at times it feels like our wingers or our inside forwards are the ones holding the width for the fullbacks to go inside, which is great. But maybe you could change that across 90 minutes. So a lot of things, man. A lot of things. I'm overcooking it now, but to get Eze and Odegaard, I'd drop it Zubi. I probably would. Or games where we're not really going to be threatened, Rice can come out. You could go with Zubi. But yeah, I'd go Rice, Eze, Odegaard. I just don't think Odegaard should be forced in the team at this moment in time. I have no doubt, regardless of the form, even if Eze comes in and he shells it, they're two very different players. I have no doubt that obviously if that happened, there'll be certain things that probably become evident to us watching our football team that Odegaard does that we don't see, like with everyone. But if you're not doing the business, your spot should be up for grabs. And if you're going to keep playing, get your form together because the world wants you to be dropped, including myself. The one man whose decision matters more is Mikel Arteta. So play for him, play for yourself, get your form together. We ain't got time to carry people. So yeah, man. This might be blasphemy, but are Rice and Zubi too similar? They are best players, but I'm not sure if we're wanting free-flowing football, they should both play. It, this is where I wanted a couple of other midfielders because there's times where you need an engine where, like the typical English games, I've been saying this all year, they're not for Zubi. The chess matches, you can go with Zubi. Games we're going to dominate possession, one of Zubi and Rice. They're still learning each other's kind of game. And I do think we're seeing a bit more layers from Zubimendi. Rice, I think your role's actually slightly changed in recent weeks, ever so slightly. It's like you're a bit more conservative, man. I still wish Mikel kept Maitland-Niles. In hindsight, my only thing with Ainsley Maitland-Niles is we had an opportunity to make 20, 30 million off him. We let him go for free, man. Yeah, man, I was a big Ainsley fan, but in hindsight, there ain't beyond being a squad player, there ain't nothing you can really bring to the table, man. You have seen Eze good when Odegaard was injured. Since he has been back in the team, we're struggling again. Give Eze a run of games as he needs to get back in form. Yeah, facts. Fans need to get more comfortable with players not being indispensable. Exactly. Like, and again, facts. Random has to stop it. We have a strong team. So if we utilize every player according to the game needs and opposition, then we'll be able to finally win the EPL, get behind the guys. We can't expect Eze to be benched for ages and then Arteta dash man out in one game and expect to see Eze playing good. I want to see Rice, Eze, and Havertz as a midfield trio. Saka taking an extra touch before shooting than he would previously. And I don't, to be honest, I saw it yesterday, seen it all. I do see players doubting themselves in the final third. Naturally, I do see it. Like I've seen Eze's reaction when he's had the shot. I've seen Noni yesterday, and we've seen that several times. Like you do look like you man are struggling emotionally, but at the end of the day, only you lot can get you out of it. You know, my heart. I can criticize you fairly as much as I can, but I love you lot. My heart bleeds for you lot. Only you lot can change your reality. It's down to you lot. Because as much as we're Arsenal men and women, and we're going to be supporting this club forever and whatnot, it's you lot that will have to, God forbid, you lot will have to sit there if you don't win whatever trophy. And at the end of the season, you're just another opportunity gone by. It's you lot. Bless up, DG, buddy. You are back. You did it. The team and the league is quickly outgrowing Odegaard. Imagine if Ozil had Rice behind him. Even I'm not gonna lie, even I watched Ozil under Mikel Arteta. I see a bit more influence. Odegaard, I need you to let your nuts hang. Simple as that. Ainsley Maitland-Niles was not good enough to be a midfielder and not humble enough to be a fullback. Ainsley didn't believe he was a fullback. Genuinely thought he was a midfielder. Now he's a fullback. Anyways, to be fair, he's played a lot of football across both, man. But it is what it is. Go do your thing. He scored the other week as well. I think we're starting to see why we were all calling for a left winger in the summer. Nelly and Trossard ain't it, and Eze needs to go left wing. We've been saying this. Left wing, there's a lot of candidates. Trossard's been the only attacking surprise I feel this season because nobody could see that prolonged form. But we know Eze can play there. Jesus can play there. Martinelli can play there. Trossard can play there. There ain't really one that you bet your hat on. I thought we all knew. You can waffle about Eze signing for this club until you're blue in the face. You don't have to like Gyökeres, but it doesn't matter how many attackers you get in this midfield. I mean, how many attackers you get in the attacking lineup. There's certain things above my pay grade. I ain't got UEFA license. I ain't on 50 mil a year. I ain't done what Arteta's done, but you can see It was never as white and black as you slap new attackers in there. We're good. I can understand the simple thinking with we missed a lot of chances, we score a lot of goals. You're bringing someone statistically with the goals Gyökeres had. Gyökeres, you could have any striker in this side, you will not see the best of them until something changes in that. And I actually feel Arteta, whether he's going to stay at Arsenal for 20 years, go next season or whatever, that's something for him to develop. And I'm starting to feel, you know what? Eze, you might not, the way it stands, Eze might be joining Miles Lewis Skelly of thinking, like, what if where England's concerned, man? Left wing for England is wide open too. Ozil was soft, Sanchez banged, and Robin Van Persie did well till he went full frick Judas. Ozil could be soft, but I've seen you stand up against Chelsea in a final. I've seen you stand up in many occasions. For me, with Odegaard, I think I've been more than fair. And you lot have seen my language towards Odegaard has changed in the last few weeks. I'm just asking for a bit of influence. I'm just asking for a bit of influence. I don't know about no one else, but I'm not asking anything of these footballers individually that more than I think you're capable of. Whether you like Odegaard or not, if you think he can't get back to his form or you think he's not a quality player, you're slightly lying. That's very different from what we've been talking about in the first opening minutes. Needs to come out the side, etc., etc. If you're here, you're definitely subscribed. Make sure you're smashing the like button and you're sensible enough to get that. Now, for me in the ideal world, I know there's risks with this, yeah. And I'm probably not going to see this lineup, but for me against Leeds, I'd love to see Raya, Gabriel, Saliba, Timber, Hincapié, Zubi. It doesn't really matter about that. I mean, it's probably more going to look like that. I don't know why I've got it like that, but yeah, Raya, Hincapié, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Magalhaes, Rice, Zubamendi, Kai Havertz. Part of me don't really feel comfortable dropping Trossard, but I just feel as a bit of confidence. He might, with a start, he probably not expecting to. You might see something. So Eze, Havertz in the Odegaard role, Gyökeres through the middle, and Bukayo. Now, if you're asking me honestly, what I believe I'm going to see if I had to gamble, you're probably more likely to see Marino there than Havertz, to be fair. But if you're asking me to be honest with you, look, who is the? Do you know what would be mind games? Gyökeres could very well end up on the bench, Havertz or Marino up front, and Odegaard remains in his spot. If you're asking me to honestly have a guesstimate of what we'll see, I think you see that. Honestly, I think you see that. The only thing I don't understand is after Bayern in 2023-24, Arteta said we don't have a 30-goal a season striker, but we're not playing as if we want our striker to score 30 a season. Exactly. Where I'm assuming literally in the Prem, we stay in the same position, we win the league, great. But I do think I'm getting a bit impatient with, again, you can keep hearing me talk about audit the performance. I do think certain things that I've been waffling about from last season, from August to December, January as we approach February, kind of enough's enough now. I know you lot are trying. I know old habits die hard. I know there's reasons behind all of that, but come on, evolve. If teams are figuring you out, you've got to evolve then. You've got to evolve. You've got to evolve. And you've clearly done it because in the last 3 years, we've kind of played the same way. We found the way. Now you need to evolve. As I said, we're a good team. If we want to get over the line, we need to become something. We're not. In 98, we won the double without a 20-goal a season striker. I hear it. But now I just don't feel we have enough players with inevitability, man. Like I don't. And that's just me looking at it as going from a good team to a great team. I don't think we have enough inevitability. We got good players that will go through the motions. But yeah, man. I'm a Liverpool fan, to be honest, but you look weak. How do we look weak? Is weak the right word? Is there concerns with how we play? How do we look weak? And what I think nobody's talking about, the whole team defensively. Don't get twisted. Attack, the attack. When I'm talking about attackers and we're talking about, the attackers, I am talking about the attackers specifically, but also the defense. How we go from David Raya to the other side of the pitch. And when I'm talking about defending, it's the front line because some of it's been too easy. Yesterday, a long ball, Jesus ain't in position. We're dislodged. They've gone through 2 layers of our team before I can criticize Kepa, which I don't think he covered in himself with any glory. How are we too weak, though? Going back to that. Because I'm not saying we're perfect, but I don't feel weak is the right word. Because nobody's on criticizing my team more than me where it's warranted, but I don't feel weak's the right word. Defensively, you lot called me a madman in August. I said, listen, last couple of years have been a great defensive side. I think we're a good one. We're conceding too many cheap goals. I know you can sit there and say that about every goal, but there's too many. The Arsenal team I've seen in the previous years, defensively, these weren't happening as frequent. Now mistakes happen. Calafiori made a mistake yesterday. Odegaard against Chelsea. Zubi made one against United. There's been plenty of others. Gabriel Magalhaes against City. Newcastle with Mascara and actually Magalhaes. Mistakes happen. The only way a footballer of any team is not going to make a mistake is if nobody kicks a ball again. But yeah, that's where I'm going, man. Even Leicester had a 20 plus G Vardy DG. We are what we are. No standout attacker. Exactly. We ain't got a standout striker. I don't feel the wingers have enough inevitability. I do see with Zubamendi running in behind and what we've seen with Rice that Arteta is clearly indirectly saying, yo, we need more goals from midfield. But currently that's not happening. And they're just, whether it's because of Arteta, whether they've been in the, everyone's situation is different. Eze ain't really been in the team. So his situation is different to Odegaard, but he ain't set the world alight. Odegaard's been playing every week. He ain't set the world alight. Saka, you get where I'm going, Gyökeres, etc. I need you lot all to go through a serious patch of form. There's no one I really can hang my hat on at the moment, which I'm saying that where we're still top in all comps. Imagine what happens if we just click into gear, man. If we're talking about mentality, yes, I wouldn't say we're weak. I don't think we have a champions mentality yet, but I wouldn't say we're weak. I've seen a weak Arsenal side when they were saying we no cojones. How have we got a weak mentality? And I'm asking, this is what I mean about the buzzwords and them kind of things. Game management, etc. We're not as emotional as we used to be. I know we haven't been great against the top 6 this season, but it's not exactly been terrible. And the previous years, how many times have we clawed back results when we haven't been amazing? There is also, as much as I'm criticizing my team, I always mention Sunderland, the second half against Liverpool, the first half against City. Sometimes things don't go to plan. As much as I'm critical about them, we've still managed to claw that out. So again, I don't think it's weak. As I keep saying, the only thing I need, the manager, the coaching staff, the players, the system, all these things. You lot are good. You've been good for the last 3 years. You've had great records in the champs. People hate more in England, but you do get some people that can say, you're a good system. Europe loves you. Managers and teams that are doing better than us love you. If you want to be a good team, this is as good as it gets. This is cool. You see, if you want to be great, which is for me, you boys finally getting over the line, doing certain things, the good has to turn to great. The evident areas need to be evolved. So I wouldn't say, I wouldn't say that. We have to chase the illusion of perfection. And I know the boys feel like this because when we beat Wolves, everybody was vexed and there's many other scenarios. But I do feel whether we've won, lost or drawn up until this point in the season, I feel like I'm talking about the same old things. I'm waiting for a real patch of, I'm still waiting to be able to, and it don't all have to come in a row. Lord knows, I hope it does though. Struggling to really find 90 minutes in the games we've played this season in the Premier League where I think we've been anything close to perfect. There's been moments. So yeah, man. Keep the defensive framework, but we need to be ruthless in attack. Stop slowing the game down. 8 for 8. Let's be great. When you're winning ugly and then you lose, you're losing ugly, which ain't pretty. I want to see a bit more courage when we draw and lose games, man. It's like we just stick to the system too much. And I know you can do it on Arteta because I saw it in its entirety against Newcastle, but the one that comes to mind every time in Europe as well is the second half against City. But then so I know you can do it, and the previous years where we played attacking football, so I know you've got it in your locker, but for whatever reason we're not doing it. I think the best example is the second half against City, but even me, I have to discount that because at that point you were chasing a loss, you were losing, they scored, so you kind of had nothing to lose. But even that, we gambled. We're like, if we get caught high, then it is what it is. Obviously they took off Haaland. They're the kind of things I want to see, man. And I like the system. I like the structure. I like the overthinking this. But no matter how much you plan about the opposition and do your analysis and number crunching, fundamentally, we're all captured to football, regardless of what team you support, because of the randomness. That's where, okay, I think, and you know what, Roberto De Zerbi's could be sacked by Marseille. I understand Nwaneri going out on loan, but for argument's sake, why couldn't Nwaneri do the Trossard super sub thing or Eze? Because a lot of people say, Eze takes risks, etc., etc. One, he's an attacking player. He might lose the ball, but he might dribble past and do a madness. His game is based around risk. All the best players carry a degree of risk. I've seen Saka against Fulham a few years ago and in general lose the ball and then they've went and scored. And even that, the players that, based on what we're seeing, are defined as more safe, Zubi's made mistakes. Odegaard's made mistakes. Rice has made mistakes. So how far do we go with that? I do think whether I like it or not, there's a certain man that are just going to play in which Arteta just get over the line for me then, innit? For real, all we need is a 6-7 game run from a few players to really stand our ground, even if those runs happen at different times. And that's what I'm saying, man. Like, this is where, boys, I think I've been more than fair now. Come on. And I know you lot think the same way. Arteta should trust Norgard more. Zubi and Rice could do with a break. I hear that. The problem is we need to counter those cheap goals with being ruthless offensively. We're not even trying that. True. And football fundamentally is decided at both ends. We've obviously done all right in terms of clean sheets generally in the last few years, but we are conceding cheap goals. We are scoring goals, but we're not killing teams. Didn't kill Kyrat. You maybe could, different contexts, you maybe could say that about Chelsea. And there's been certain others. You know, there was even a point of this season, we all knew the first half was going to be a bit meaty. probably the first 10, 15 minutes of the second half is where we're on it. Even the Leeds game, where it was one-way traffic and we controlled, we were still talking about these things. So, yeah, man. I think you're right about inevitability. Would love an Alvarez before the window closes or summer. The Gooner channel, big up yourself. You know yourself, though, man. The dream is free. The hustle is sold separately. You know we're dreaming about Alvarez in Jan, potentially in the summer. I'm a big Alvarez fan. I just wonder, am I gassing it? Because his goal record ain't really that great. And I do think I need to see like us creating a lot of chances and doing all the things we've been crying before. I think it's as white and black as you sign another striker. For me, I think I said it. Big up Berta. I think it shouldn't have been 8, it should have been 9. And I think for next summer, we need that game changer on the left-hand side, man. We need that game changer. Agreed. Wasn't a big part of the winning Premier League season in the early 2000s because of the likes of Omri, Wiltord, and Canoe. You need a squad, bro. Need a squad. Need a squad. So let's just go up their gears, man. Marseille blew it, bottom 8 and out. But Wanyeri just develop, man. Twitter saying De Zerbi might get fired. Yeah, I'm seeing that as well because of the Champions League display. And again, for Wanyeri, that's a learning curve. Obviously, De Zerbi spoke with Mikel Arteta. Yeah, I know how to use Wanyeri. He's obviously spoken with the Marseille gaffer still at this moment in time. Yeah, I want to go over there. He's had a dream debut. Training's probably good. But the reality is a football man gets sacked. So now you have to earn it all over again. What if the new manager, if that is the case, is a complete polar opposite of De Zerbi and he's got some other plans for Wanyeri? So generally, all of these things for you as a person, as a footballer, away from, how much we love Wanyeri, there's so much he could learn. So much he could learn. Rice, Zubi, Havertz could be the key going forward if Gyökeres is playing 9. Quicker ball progression. Kai playing as a second striker behind Gyökeres. The one thing I give Havertz is I actually think you're better without football at your feet, which sounds mad. You're on running in behind. Zubimendi, we're not there yet, but we saw it against Chelsea actually in the League Cup. You are starting to run in behind. Rice, I feel Rice's role has kind of changed, but he can do that. And again, you can't eat the same meal every day. Sometimes I think we just have to box clever. This might be the point where maybe just 1-2 changes, even though Arteta is hell-bent on, I want to do this with Havertz, this with Odegaard, maybe we just need to box smart for a set just to get some points on the board. Because even one thing I'm more critical is, we know we kind of have it, but it feels like when we have taken an L so far this season, up until the point I'm about to mention, or like when I say take an L, it could also be a draw in it, just not getting 3 points. We've reacted immediately. The last 3 games, it does fill me of past years where you don't know how vexed I am about Nottingham Forest. I'm actually even more critical of Arteta in that game than a lot, even though the players, I gave you a lot of smoke. All right, cool. Can't go back in time. Liverpool can't go back in time. United can't go back in time. But I've been talking about the same things. Points have been dropped. You're in a bit of I won't quite say rut, but a rut. You can't lose to Leeds. Well, you can because it's football, but you can't afford to drop points there, man. Smash the like button if you haven't. Where the champs is concerned, though, we have become the first team to go perfect in the league phase under the new competition format. 8 games, 8 wins, 0 L's, no draws, 23 goals scored, 4 conceded, plus 19 goal difference, 24 from 24, which is great. That's irrelevant now. That gives you confidence that you can compete. You obviously won against some big teams. The gloves are off now. It's business end. Playing well doesn't mean anything. And you lot have done well. You got, 1 year quarterfinals, stage fright against Bayern. You kind of learn. You got to the semis. Let's hope that trajectory is there, man. Because I can't lie. I think if we got to the final, we win it, in hindsight. Oh, and that's obviously me seeing how the final played out. But that's all hindsight, man. Don't want to sit there and wish about the league anymore, retaining it, or maybe a 3-peat, or should we have got more domestic trophies, or could we have finally won the Champions League for the first time in our history and gone one step closer to erasing the shoddy European history that we have? Let's be honest, fans that are young and old can attest to that. But when it's all said and done, I think you lot have been good. I actually think in the last 3 years, excluding this year because it ain't panned out, you could have claimed at a point to be the best team in Europe or the best team in the Premier League. But the flip side of that is the best team doesn't always win, but it does. We all say that with the champs, the best team don't always win the Champions League, which I hear it. We understand that. But the same logic is, yes, they do. People say the best team don't always win the league. Yes, they do. Because when it's all said and done, why you didn't win the league, whether you had injuries, this happened, VAR, that happened, that's your business. All that matters is from 1st to 20th, who's got the wins, draws, losses. And that's where we need to go. We need to get over this line. So, yeah, man, only team unbeaten in the league phase. You know what? Can we stay unbeaten for the whole thing and by default win it? History. Big up Arteta on 200 wins. But again, the last 3-4 years, better statistics reflect that we're a good team. I'm only interested in this now because I think we deserve it as fans. The gaffer, you deserve it. players, you definitely deserve it. And to be honest, I've got more time for the players than coaching staff or whatever, because I actually feel this time last year, I'm never going to forget how I felt in the January period. I think Mikel Arteta, the staff at the time above him and around him, medical staff, everyone but the players connected to that club and us as fans. I think you let them down. I think you all let them down. I think you let them down. I think you lot told me that last season when you didn't act in the market that, okay, cool, we're probably going to end up second. Obviously, you couldn't predict the Champions League game, losing to PSG and beating Real Madrid. You lot said it was cool. So you lot owe us. And Bert has done his thing. Big up Kai as well, man. He done very well. Goal assisted his thing. Arteta's big brother got 400 wins, has 400 wins for City people. Well, Arteta's got 200 for us. And you know what? We've had so far. I don't want the good times to stop now, but it's been all right in the champs, man. It's been all right in the champs. It's been all right in the champs. Atletico Madrid, that was smash and grab. Shout out to Martinelli and Trossard. Olympiacos, big up us for that. Atletico Madrid, we saw Gyökeres scoring with his bollocks. Big up Marino for that. Bayern. Yeah, Bayern was the one. Atletico, I did like that, but Bayern was the one for me, man. That was one of, you know what, yeah, I actually feel when I just look at football from a neutral point of view, there's been a couple of games, and I can't remember them all. There's been a couple of games I've really enjoyed in football this season, if I'm completely honest. And I do think Bayern versus Arsenal was one of them. I think the way company set up, the way Arteta set up, the way the quality of the players from both teams, all those kind of things, it was great. I think Bodo Glimt City as well, mainly for Bodo Glimt. But yeah, that was great. Club Brugge, it was mad. And it's mad. Madueke, you scored our best goal in the Champions League so far, and you've probably scored our goal of the season, if I'm honest, unless someone else scores a screamer like that. Big you up for beating Inter. We didn't have the best and still don't have the best record of recent against Italian sides, and we did what needed to be done against Kyra. If I'm honest, the scoreline it doesn't lie, but it doesn't always tell the full story. We didn't put the ball in the back of the net more times than we could have. You know, even in the second half, we had chances, conceded 2 sloppy goals. So there's been lessons in all games and all competitions, regardless of the context, that tell us exactly what we need to do to get to the next phase, man. So yeah, big us up for that, man. Gyökeres has said we can compete against anyone in Europe. I love that. Arsenal players to score 10 plus goals in all comps this season. Gyökeres and Martinelli. So imagine if we fix what needs to be fixed where we could go. And obviously Nelly's got 6 goals in the champs. He's closing Henri's record, man. You're on something else, man. Wait, what? Oh, so this is in a single season. But in general, he's got 10 goals. He's got more in the champs than Alexis Sanchez. Now, obviously, when you see the Henri statistics and the Alexis Sanchez statistics, that's why you can't read too much into it. Big up Kai as well. He made his first start since February the 5th, 2025, people. We've done him dirty. You know what? People don't have to like you, but nobody can say you're not. You don't listen. We shouldn't have bought you. Maybe you shouldn't be in the starting lineup, but we're here now, innit? You are in my opinion, I value in part of this squad, because let's have it right. The last 3 years, we've known we've had attacking issues. He's pulled his weight a lot more than everyone. It's been him and Saka. He's always stood up tall, and we need all our players. I can't lie to you. Like, we need Kai. Kai stood up. The one time I started listening to Arteta is when he said, Kai will go to war with you. And I didn't believe it at first, and I saw it. As I said, I think your better qualities are off the ball. Listen, in an ideal world, he's not here. He's not in the starting 11. We're here now, innit? He's a tool that could be utilized. And if I'm honest, I got a lot more faith in you than a couple other men. Like, obviously, for me, the inevitables or the historic untouchables, their form's a bit shaky. Is Rice, Saliba, Gabriel, Saka, Raya, maybe 1 or 2 others. Then I got, like, that's the top bracket. Then I got a couple others that guys are believing in certain conditions. I'm not saying Kai needs to start every week, but I know what I'm getting with you. You've earned my trust. Marino, you've earned my trust. Obviously, Zubi, you've earned my trust. I just don't think you should be playing in them typical big games, if that makes sense. There's a couple other exceptions, man. But so I'm not going to go through every player, but you look get the point, man. Big up yourself, SI, as well, man. DG Buddy doing his Balotelli muscle flex this weekend, bro. We need to get 3 points, man. Like, we need to get 3 points, man. DGR Paul is telling, but will Arteta do this? Hard to know. Also wondering how Kai felt fitness-wise after last night. I don't think he's going to start. I don't want to play around with him, innit? Because I feel, obviously, I'm not saying the club aren't, and there's a degree Kai's probably pushing, but you have a duty of care, man. It sucks that you and Magalhaes in particular, I'm really struggling to deep that we're in 2026, because I keep saying 2 big injuries in the year. They've had 2 big injuries. You've got to manage them, man, because we are getting to that. Oh, we're in February. The end of the season soon here, you know. Everything has to come into place. Big up Eze as well. He created 5 chances yesterday. Martinelli created 4. Kyra in its entirety entirety created 3, but then they scored 2. So statistically, they're more clinical than us. Since making his debut in August 2023, Kai has both scored and assisted in 8 different games across all comps, with only Saka doing so more often for the club during this time. Which, again, for a man that we don't describe as clinical, he's been a lot more clinical than others. What does that say about the system? What does it say about his teammates? What does that say about the foundations we're trying to build on? I think we've built on strong foundations, but if we want to make that jump, definitely not drop. It needs to be consolidated and strengthened, if I'm honest, man. Like, I do think when you look at things without emotion, there's decisions that need to be made, man. And big up Kai. It took him just 1 minute and 42 seconds to assist on his first Arsenal start for 357 days. Madness. And obviously, I only really care about Arsenal, but obviously, there's reasons why I want you to stay fit with that, right? But I don't really want I always feel more sorry for players, not just at Arsenal, but people that have injury hit campaigns in a World Cup year, and especially people whose seasons end like prematurely because of such. Whatever they say, he's got 10 goals and he's got 4 goals in his last Champions League. He's got 4 goals in his last 4 Champions League matches. I'm not gonna lie, Gyökeres, you could have scumbagged bare goals yesterday, man. I need more, but it's all calm, man. We're gonna make it, man. And Martinelli, what is it? Because it can't it can't just be the low blocks and deep blocks and that, but 17 games in the Prem, 1 goal, 7 in the Champions League, 6 goals. Even your finish against Club Brugge, even the shot he had yesterday, man, in the Prem, he balloons that. Hey, Madueke, man, shooting boots, man. Like, your boots look too big. The way you clarted that ball, I don't know what was going on. Gyökeres' whole Champions League career, 10 goals in 11 starts. Not bad from him, innit? And what a ball that was. But again, big up Eze because he played it. But again, just sit quick and fast, man. Just put it in behind. Just pull it in behind. And maybe Gyökeres and Kai, they understand each other's game a bit more. I don't know, people. Joe, do you not agree with this? Joe Cole thinks Chelsea made a mistake selling Nolly Madueke to Arsenal. I was gutted to see Nolly leave Chelsea. He gets you off your feet. He can go both ways, true. He's capable of that. I think the thing that frustrates the fans, though, he's still a young man. It wasn't regular enough. He's gone to Arsenal, and I think he's thrived with competition. Got Saka in front of him. I think he's an outstanding guy. I was gutted to see him leave Chelsea, but he's doing well. You're a good backup for Saka and you're doing your thing there, but it's just decision-making. You do get us off our seats, but goals and assists. And we knew that with you coming into the squad, and I know you're trying. So, Noni, go and fix it up. Arteta, you brought him in. Make it work. Because it wouldn't have been on my shopping list. So, yeah, I think everyone's on dropping Odegaard for Eze. Not necessarily if it's not a Kai thing. Should we, obviously, big up Arteta. We're happy that we ended it with 8 wins. I'm not going to read that to you. On Kai, yeah, that was a very positive thing as well. Individually getting Ricardo or Richie Calafiori back as well after the injury, which is great. Don't pull shirts in the Prem unnecessarily, but we need you back. We need you back. And do you start him? Do you start him on Saturday against Leeds? Because we haven't focused on Calafiori. I think it will be Nketiah and Cala off the bench. Maybe he starts against Chelsea, or definitely after the Chelsea game, regardless of how it pans out. Maybe we get back to normality, innit? Well, after the injury, Kai, not only bringing him in, I think the quality that he showed, the way he connected with the team, the goal that he scored, the assist that he made in the first half, a really positive performance. On where Kai can play in the front line, don't scare me, man. On where Kai can play in the front line, he can play in all positions, I think. Right, left, attacking midfielder, or 9. It doesn't change much for him. Depending on the position, the relationships we have around him, and the players that are available as well will make those decisions. The good thing is that he's fit, he's available, and he's going to give us so much. And you can tell Arteta's bullish, isn't it? Arteta really backs Marino and Kai, I think, in the press. On if Kai Havertz is ready for the Premier League. He's fine. That's what we planned. 45 minutes before being subbed. We wanted him to start as well, so he could do all the processes before that in the best possible way. And from now on, we have a decision to make whether he starts or not in these comps, on whether he's knocking on the door for Leeds. For sure, he wanted to continue playing today, so I know what's coming tomorrow. Big on us having a home advantage in the champs. I'm not going to read that. We'll consider that when we need to. We'll take any advantage we can get. On what we've missed with Kai Havertz, Arteta sounding like DG. Every player has unique qualities. Kai is a player who gives us so much versatility and threat across different positions because he's unique in the areas he can occupy and in the way he connects with other players. He's a player who understands as well in the league what we want to do. He copes really well with the pressure and with different demands, and he's a player that is going to be really important in this second part of the season. Big up the Karabakh keeper. Listen, we're happy we got 8 wins. On Kai bouncing back from 2 big injuries. Well, it's going to give him a lot of confidence, joy, and energy, and to the team as well, because the team knows how important Kai is for us and how he can help the team to be much better and take the team to a different level. So the fact that he was able to do that today after such a long time is very impressive. So bring him on board and make sure that now we use him in the right way, because he's going to be very important. Are we all in agreement with that? I think Arteta has to work on his squad rotation so that all players have confidence and come pressure games. Eze got to be used more than he has. Facts, man. Definitely where Eze. I'm not, you know me, I'm not on rotation for rotation's sake. There's definitely times where I think there's warranted wholesale changes or whatnot. But I don't think it's the right option. But I agree with what you're saying in that you can't just, Eze can't be MIA for time and then you're expecting fireworks. There needs to be a bit more, I'd say, flexibility, which is, I'm just using a different word for rotation. 100%. 100%. Kai sins were forgiven when he assisted Eze signing. Look at this guy, man. Those 200 wins hold the same weight as Kane's golden boots for Spurs. True. This is what I'm saying, bro. Man's tired of statistics apart from winning. I wish last night had been more convincing. Gooner channel, you're right, bro. You're right. We all wish it would have. Or at the very minimum, the second half, continued in the same vein. But we got the win. We just have to move on, man. But I do think my frustration is coming from, I feel like I'm seeing the same things week in, week out. And I don't want to sound like one of them. I'm throwing everything out the pram or whatever it's called, in it. But I'd be lying to you, lot. Like, I'd be lying to you. Whether we've won, lost, or drawn, and granted that's going to happen. And slightly certain approaches in big games. But yeah, what's Gyökeres said, man? Gyökeres is still Gyökeres. Score against Leeds and keep going. You get that tag back. I think we started well, apart from the penalty that we gave away. And yeah, I think we scored some nice goals, created some good opportunities to score even more. Then I think we could have done much better in the second half. We weren't playing as fast and as direct in the first. And yeah, I think that's why we didn't score in the second half. Boy, it's a great feeling to score goals and to help the team. I think we could have performed better overall in the game. But of course, I'm always happy with scoring. And nobody can disagree with what Gyökeres has said here, innit? It's great to have Kai back, and he performed great this game, even though he only played 45 minutes. So yeah, it went really well, I think. Pardon me. I think the Inter game was great, and I think the Atletico Madrid game at home, one of those would be my highlights. It's always fun when you come to the knockout phase and to get closer to where we want to end this tournament. So exciting times. And big up the young G's as well, man. Brado, Bradley, Joseph, and obviously Ibrahim as well, making their debuts. Hopefully we see some more Highlanders come through. I think Gyökeres has been on the press run after the game as well, man. Yes, I look forward to every game. It'll be a tough away match, but we hope to obviously perform and get the 3 points. This obviously in relation to Leeds. What else has he said? Yeah, I want to score whatever game. I don't care, really. I just want to do my best and take my chances. It will happen, Gyökeres. Keep grinding, man. It was great. I think obviously it was great to get the ball from him so early on. Hey, Odegaard, you got Mel. And to score a goal, he obviously did well on the other 2 goals also. So I'm very happy for him. What else has he said? I think it was good. Of course, it's disappointing after defeat and how we lost it, but it can happen in football. And I think the most important thing is how you react to it and what you do after. So yeah, we try to make sure we do better from now on. We take the win tonight and first place in the group phase with 8 wins out of 8. I think we're all happy with the group phase, and now we look forward to the knockouts. I think we've done very well so far, but we have to do the same and just try to be present, work hard, and look forward to Saturday now. Fair play, man. What else has he said here? That's the big number. This is on his 200. So happy, and especially to close the competition in the manner that we won it and now focus on the next one. He spoke about the Highlanders. So really, we're just seeing the same thing. We closed the first part of the Champions League in the manner that we wanted, being first and not having to play another 2 games and having the home advantage in the second leg. And after that, after making 11 changes, I think the team's attitude was spot on from the beginning. We had some very good individual comebacks and performances. Disappointed with the 2 goals and the manner we conceded them. And the fact that we scored 3 and we should have scored many more with the amount of situations and chances we generated. Now, if you didn't know that was about Kyra, some of that could apply to United, Liverpool, Chelsea away, Sunderland, even games we've won. You see what I mean? And we know you can't win them all, but you see what I mean about old habits die hard. And if we keep doing the same things, we cannot expect different results. So let's fix the roof while the sun is shining. Sun shining where we don't know how this season's going to pan out. But at the end of the day, topping what we need to in all comps. You get where I'm going, in it, people. So it's down to them. And you could, this is just a tab police look away. And I was just, I don't even know. I was just happy to just see us score some goals, man. Big up Benjamin White and Mascara. Noni, you see, You know what? Yeah, if you could, there's so many players. If you could combine Odegaard and Eze, probably Gyökeres and Kai, Madueke and Saka, Trossard and Martinelli. Obviously, you can't do this. Marino on a couple. There's so many players that if you could just mesh them together like Dragon Ball Z, it'd be amazing. Who do you lot want in the next round though? Because we could potentially get Atalanta, Leverkusen, Dortmund, Olympiacos. The one that scares me just off name is Olympiacos. Arsenal fans will know, but I'd probably want them. We got home advantage in it. Bring anyone. I don't think Leverkusen have been, and again the dynamics change, but I don't think Leverkusen have been that good this season. I fancy it home and away against the current version of Borussia Dortmund. If I'm honest with you, I think they flattered to this. They went down to 10 men, but I think they were poor against Spurs. Don't think they were the best against Inter either. Bring on anyone, and it would be interesting because I don't know how it all pans out, but we could potentially in the quarters place. I think Sporting, City, Real Madrid. You got the way this set up. You've got to be prepared to play anyone in the knockout phases, and also when you deep it, yeah. Maybe this is reactionary off this season with the league phase. But slyly, every game matters, yeah. And I definitely would have taken Arsenal's position than anyone else's. I don't want to go into the competition with jeopardy. But slyly, it's surely only game week 8 that matters. Not matters like that, but that's the only one that is like, oh, what's going on here? No, slyly, I was thinking that yesterday, nothing's changed. And at the end of the day, our next 6 games, Leeds away, Chelsea at home, Sunderland at home, Brentford away, Wigan at home, Spurs away. All y'all can ask you lot to do is learn from all the previous games, the winnings, the losses, the draws, and move forward. We need to see W's. We need to see W's. We need to see W's. Oh, there it is. So, yeah, we could potentially play Sporting, City, Real Madrid, Inter, Bodo Glimt, Benfica. Bodo Glimt probably think that they could take on anyone. Move to Atletico, move to City. Fearless approach. Miles Lewis-Skelly had a great game, and he's such a mature young man. I'm very biased to Miles Lewis-Skelly. Everyone wants to play football, but this squad has got a lot of quality. For me, it's just any opportunity I get to play, be the best version of myself. If I do what I can control, the rest will take care of itself. Sometimes I think Miles Lewis-Skelly watches my content because some of the things you say, I'm like, sounds like my tune still, but big up Lewis-Skelly, man. We just want to embrace the title favorites tags, use it for us, not against us. Exactly. Big expectations, but none can be bigger than what you've placed. Luis Enrique, big up yourself, but no, I don't care about that. Apparently, after advancing on a move for Zinchenko, Ajax are also targeting Norgard. Probably a non-story, or the only part of the story that matters is we know Zinchenko's probably going to leave permanently, which wage bill and that. It would be suicidal to let Norgard go in January. It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. It don't make 0% sense. But don't let that get in the way of a good story, man. Liverpool and Arsenal are set to lock horns in the transfer market. I think it means but it says here at the 2 Premier League giants fight to sign Camavinga from Real Madrid. Oh, the Camavinga links. You know what? It's nice to not see Diaz. Not that I wouldn't take Diaz, Goulet, Rodrigo, or the young centre back, but it's the same old names. Don't really believe it. I'd have Camavinga. Arteta having play him inverted left back though, man. They're going to charge us an arm and a leg. Don't really think he's kicked on. This has said Real Madrid are desperate to keep him. But according to Court Offside, Liverpool and Arsenal are serious about him. Where Arsenal are concerned, Arteta allegedly is a strong admirer of the player. The Spaniard appreciates his ability to play multiple positions, including left back. Versatility is an attribute that the Gunners value highly as it allows their squad to be smaller and nimbler. Smaller is not the right word. And yeah, we do like versatility. A number of players can, like, you might only be a defender, but you can play different roles in defense. Some of you can play left back, right back, and in midfield. I wouldn't say that's just an Arsenal thing. Surely that's just a necessity of where the game's at. Like, unless you're a top dog, like you're a Haaland, where, yeah, you're just a striker, you're cold. And obviously, you don't always have to be like that. But beyond the obvious, you don't want to see Gyökeres start left wing or some nonsense like that. You have to arguably be able to play 2 to 3 positions, arguably in the modern day. I think that's just where we're at anyways, people. Is there anything refreshed here? What? What's this? Oh, yeah, Maldini Kukuri's gone to Grimsby. Arsenal have been dealt a major blow in their bid to sign RB Leipzig winger Yandy Monday this summer. The Ivorian has been identified as a top target. We did a video on him, didn't we? By the Gunners hierarchy, but Real Madrid have now also registered their interest in completing the move, with head scout Juni Calafat identifying him as a suitable target if Rodrigo or Vinicius opt to leave the Bernabeu. How long until we get linked with Nico Williams again, regardless of him signing a new contract last summer? Arsenal set for huge cash injection. Okay, cool. We're going to get money from the Champions League. Great. All right. Can we use that on some players? This is irrelevant. What's this? So yeah, as I was saying, you look at the last 10 games, yeah, gives you confidence. But Leeds, if anyone that thinks we're just gonna rock up and just move to Leeds, we need to put our best foot forward. Leeds have lost just one of their last 10 Premier League games. They beat Chelsea 3-1, they drew against Liverpool 3-3, they drew against Brentford, they beat Crystal Palace 4-1, they drew against Sunderland, and again against Liverpool and against United. They did lose 4-3 against Newcastle, they beat Fulham, and they drew with Everton. So they don't get well in big games. They'll make it difficult. I do think both teams are very different, but very similar. Leeds are the sort of team, yeah. Like, I'm not saying it's going to happen on Saturday, but they will go 2 goals up against Arsenal. Then we'll score 3. Then they might make it 4-3. And then somehow in the 90th minute, they've lost 7-5. They're very emotional like that, but they're not going to make it easy for us. James Justin's a baller as well, man. But that's it, mate. We need another month like November, basically the same 11, and that was with injuries. I think Arteta overthinks when he has too many tools at his disposal, probably. But that's manager's best gifts and curse. You have to overthink. Like, you overthink and it works, great. You overthink and it don't. You're tinkering too much. You're right, though, man. I just think we need a clean run in terms of results. UK appreciate that. You could also argue Arteta should be playing 2 strikers. The system would have to change. I wouldn't want it to look like a 4-4-2 per se. And I'd need my left back or my right back to really be narrow when they're inverting rather than inverting and gallivanting. Because the present day, you're bucking, like, everyone's typically playing 3 in midfield. But that changes to probably about a 5, because that's 3 organic midfielders, yeah? That's 3 organic midfielders, right? Then you got an inverted fullback. So that's indirectly, in the middle of a part, that's 4. Everybody's striker is dropping in. That's 5. I hear you, DG, but we can literally keep doing the same thing and expect different results. Yeah, and let's hope that works. But has it worked in the last 3 years? Or is it fair to say that we've had some great nights, we've had some great statistics? I don't think any Arsenal fan imagines we're the best goal scorers in the world, but we're up there for goals, we're up there for clean sheets. We have great nights out against the top 6 in Europe, and there's progression. But you can't run away from the inevitable. You can't run away from the warning signs. You can't. And if you keep playing like this, you're not going to get over the line. It does feel a bit different in the Premier League in that feels like you have to, Jalen, it feels like we're going to have, God forbid, yeah, but it feels like we'd have to try really hard not to win this league, you know, like it has to happen, man. But you can't. You literally can't. It's cop-out, man. And Jalen, respectfully, we both know Mikel Arteta and the players, they're not happy with what we've been doing, regardless. They're happy with the platform, I guess. But yeah, my king guy, look at this guy. Are we overdoing it with the tactics being boring? Because when you look at our champs versus Prem stats, it shows more than the Prem overall has become more defensive, just playing devil's advocate. See me? Obviously, I want to be entertained. I don't care about entertainment. I don't care about if it's boring. I just need a bit of life in the final third. I just know that sometimes when the pressure is really on, we're not taking our chances. Fuck the boringness. Because people only come, not saying you, but people only come out with this Arsenal boring stuff when we're actually on a run, you know. When we were as exciting, nobody cared. Now we're boring, nobody cares. I think every fan that whether we scumbag our way by our own goals and set pieces or play great attacking football, just get over the line. What I would say is, imagine how good it would be if you're generating chances, if you're taking chances, if you're generating on goals, if you're generating from set pieces, if you're sharing the goals around, but equally, there's a couple of players with some inevitability. You know, my players that have shown me a body of work, please find your form. The purple patch players, please get just everything just hit, just start working, innit? Everything. Surprisingly, MLS hasn't got much minutes, but to be honest, your defense has hardly put a foot wrong. It's the reality now, isn't it? Really? Oh, Marcel, give it a rest, man. What did you go and do? You went and started watching Cherokee or something, innit? There was no way you was going to do anything constructive with yourself, pussy. But big up Marcel. He's a nitty, but he's our one. So yeah, people, I'm conscious of time though, so I'm going to have to end this one. But the good news is, I did a stream with Zar. Go and check that out. Be back tomorrow. Watch alongs on Saturday. Watch alongs on Sunday. So on and so forth, people. It's a marathon though. It's a marathon. We're not going to win them all, but we need to audit the performance whether we win, lose or draw. Most importantly, DG Nation, without you lot, this thing is dead. So yeah, my members, my mods, my subscribers, even you, Marcel, make sure you're supporting. Appreciate you listening and engaging in that. But for now, done no.
Against this right back.
Come man, shout me. Me, Omri, Irak, can teach people.
Bye.